Iran retaliates in broad daylight with unknown missiles against the United States, and the Middle East goes back on alert with sirens, interceptions, and smoke in different parts of the Gulf. This Thursday, July 9th, 2026. The Iranian reaction came after new American offensives against military targets inside Iran, announced by the United States Central Command, as a response to the attacks on commercial vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. Tehran attacked structures linked to the Americans in Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, and other sensitive points in the region, while Jordan reported interceptions. And Erbil, in northern Iraq, appeared in reports of sirens near diplomatic and military areas. At the same time, explosions were reported in Bushehr, and smoke appeared in reports about Shiraz. And images of a destroyed railway bridge in northern Iran increased the sense that the war has once again struck strategic infrastructure. What did Iran try to prove with this retaliation? How will the United States respond if Tehran doubles down? I'll tell you all about it in a moment. If you like this kind of straightforward and no-nonsense content, consider subscribing because we have videos like this every day. The sequence began after attacks on 3 commercial vessels passing through the Strait of Hormuz. Washington's justification was to preserve freedom of navigation in Hormuz, where commercial ships, civilian crews, and the flow of global energy started to come under pressure. Trump said that the delivery was practically finished and stated that new Iranian aggressions would receive an even harsher response. The American government treated the attacks as direct retaliation, not as a symbolic gesture. That's where the crisis changes in intensity. Iran responded by launching drones and missiles at structures linked to the United States in the Gulf. The Iranian military itself said it targeted Patriot systems in Kuwait, an early warning facility in Qatar, and a fuel storage area used by the American military in Bahrain. Kuwait reported that its forces faced a combination of cruise missiles, 3 ballistic missiles, and 10 drones in its airspace, with 1 person injured by shrapnel. Bahrain also reported interceptions, while Qatar called for a return to diplomacy and condemned attacks on commercial vessels in Hormuz. Jordan became a focal point of the alerts after sirens sounded, and authorities said that projectiles launched from Iran were intercepted. The point matters because Jordan hosts a US military presence and often becomes a risk corridor when the region escalates. The difference now is that the Iranian retaliation came in broad daylight with a clear political objective to show that Tehran can still spread alarm on several fronts at the same time, even after the blows it received within its own territory. Erbil was also mentioned in the reports. In northern Iraq, there were reports of sirens in Kuwait. The United States consulate and alarms at the Harrir base, an area already known for hosting an American military presence in regional operations. The fact that Erbil is back in the news shows how Iran and groups aligned with Tehran are seeking to maintain pressure. Also in Iraq, where the American presence has always been seen by the Iranian regime as a target for influence and intimidation. Inside Iran, the American response opened another front. Explosions were heard in Bushehr. Bushehr, a province that hosts a port, military presence, and Iran's main civilian nuclear power plant. Iranian authorities accused the United States of attacking the region near the nuclear facility, while international agencies expressed concern about any offensive near sensitive areas. There was no clear indication pending a check for direct damage to the reactor. Even so, Bushehr carries enormous weight because any explosion in that area immediately sparks fear in the Gulf. In northern Iran, the Aktekekan railway bridge near Akala, in Golestan province, appeared in images and reports as a site that was hit. This bridge is part of a route connected to the border with Turkmenistan and to the land trade routes used by Iran to connect to corridors with Russia and China. The attack on this type of infrastructure sends a message beyond the military sphere. When the regime tries to put pressure on Hormuz by sea, its alternative land routes also become vulnerable. Shiraz made the news due to reports of an attack and visible smoke in the area of a complex linked to the electronics industry. The city is the capital of Fars province, has about 1.8 million inhabitants, and holds an important position in Iran's economy, culture, and industrial sectors. The mentioned complex is connected to the defense and technology sector, which explains the strategic importance of the location. The targets are not chosen by chance. They follow the logic of cutting the military, logistical, and technological capabilities of the regime. The Associated Press reported that maritime operators have started to review the security of the passage, while some ships are turning off transponders or avoiding unnecessary exposure. Even when some of the traffic continues, fear already imposes a cost. The Iranian regime tries to sell the retaliation as a defense of sovereignty, but the move reveals an imbalance. Dependence on a single lever, controlling fear in Hormuz. Tehran knows it doesn't need to win a conventional war against the United States to cause damage. It just needs to convince the market that ships, bases, and trade routes can be hit at any moment. Washington knows this too. That's why the American attacks specifically targeted coastal surveillance, naval capabilities, depots, and structures that support Iranian pressure on the strait. The political reaction was also strong. Mohammed Bakr Kalibaf stated that if the United States attacks, they will be attacked in return, and said that Hormuz will only be reopened on Iranian terms, not by American threats. The sentence shows Tehran's ambition to treat an international route as if it were the property of the regime. For the Gulf nations, this is unacceptable. Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and other governments in the region know that allowing Iran to control Hormuz alone would be like accepting a kind of permanent political toll on global energy. The crisis has also spread to the Israel-Lebanon front. While Trump said he believed Israel would leave southern Lebanon, the Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz pushed back. And he stated that Israel did not ask for permission to enter Lebanon and does not need permission to stay. Netanyahu and Katz maintain that the Israeli forces will stay until Hezbollah is disarmed. This front matters because Hezbollah is an armed wing aligned with Iran. And any flare-up in Hormuz also tends to intensify tensions in southern Lebanon, where thousands of buildings have already been destroyed and families remain trapped between ruin, fear, and uncertainty. Ali Khamenei's funeral added more symbolic pressure to the crisis. At times like this, Tehran usually spreads suspicions to confuse the public, create parallel enemies, and divert attention from the main point.
The first leader, the main man. You killed him. Who killed him? You did. Do you accuse Saudi Arabia of killing Mashik? That's your fault. Not even the Iranian Foreign Ministry says that. Saudi Arabia killed the American commander.
The war escalated again because the regime tried to use Hormuz as a political weapon. The memorandum of understanding that tried to contain the crisis is not formally dead, but it's barely breathing. Iran relied on missiles of an undisclosed type, drones, sirens, and scattered targets to appear stronger than it actually is. The region watches without illusion. When Tehran puts the world's oil on the table as a weapon, it doesn't just scare Washington. It triggers a global alert. Thank you very much for watching this video until the end. Support our project and contribute financially through the Pix key that appears on your screen. We are an independent channel, focused on keeping you informed and telling you the truth. Your contribution helps us keep going.